Hi guys. Trying to find my light in the car. Super excited because I am getting ready to help Julia, one of your new Wise sisters, with her launch party. She's having a launch party tonight. Just got out of grand jury duty for the week. It was a little bit crazy. Really interesting, but of course sucked up all of my time this week. I haven't been able to get anything done. I'm sure you can relate. When something you don't really have planned pops up and kind of takes you away from everything you did have planned, it kind of throws you into a little bit of a tailspin sometimes. So I've had to kind of adapt and overcome. So earlier, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that I posted an example of a text message that I sent to a woman that I met today at the courthouse. She worked in the cafe. And, you know, of course I'm chit-chatting because that's what you should be doing when you're meeting people and just kind of networking or whatever. And we're just chit-chatting, and she's super, super friendly. And in the 2-minute conversation that we had while I was choosing my food and paying and kind of waiting in line, I learned some really important things about her. I learned that she's from the Philippines, and I learned that she was taking sign language classes, and we chatted a little bit more. I opted to eat my lunch there in that little cafeteria where she works. I absolutely could have taken my food and eaten outside all by myself and enjoyed some peace and quiet, but instead I made the conscious decision to stay there and eat where she was working, and so that we could visit a little bit more. And so when I posted the screenshot of what I was getting ready to text her below, one of you ladies had asked the question, I can't remember who it was, are we opening in the Philippines? And I thought that was a really, really great kind of interesting question. But I also thought it was kind of odd that that would be asked, because no, you know, I don't know anything that you don't know. So I don't know when or if we're opening in the Philippines. But I didn't try to form a relationship with her because of, or not because of, the fact that she was born and raised in the Philippines. I chose to reach out to her, or ask to reach out to her again, or meet up again at a later date, specifically because she is part of a whole culture and community of people that live in my area that I don't have any personal connection with. And so what I told her was, you know, what I'm learning, I told her a little bit about my business, and I said, you know, what I'm finding is different women in different cultures have different makeup habits and likes and dislikes. For example, it's my understanding that women in France, although they wear quite a bit of makeup, they actually go for a very natural look. And for the most part, it's lashes, liner, and lips. Everything else is, you know, pretty nude. In Mexico or Spain, it's my understanding that a lot of women really like a lot of liquid liner, some bold colors, a bold lip. So I said, you know, I would love, if you have time, if you're interested, if I could maybe buy you coffee or a lunch sometime, and maybe you can share with me a little bit about what women in the Philippines like as far as makeup goes. And maybe you could give me some business tips and hints, you know, based on your culture. I mean, is that something that you would be interested in doing? And she's like, sure, that would be so fun. And, you know, because I was showing an interest in her, and I showed an interest in her culture. It was a genuine interest. And what my goal with that is also twofold. We also know, if you've done any research on Hong Kong, that Hong Kong actually has a high population of workers that live there that are from the Philippines. So, although that wasn't my main motivation, because she did also share with me she doesn't have any contacts in Hong Kong, because I had brought that up. I didn't let it, you know, that's not what it was about. It was about getting to know her, getting to know her culture, asking her advice on my business, asking her advice on her culture, her demographic, you know, what she was raised with. So here's what I'm going to do. I put a note in my phone for next week. I'm going to reach out to her again, and I'm going to say, hey, it's Haley. You know, we met at the coffee shop. Now remember, she already has the little blip that I sent that reminds her. Those are purposeful reminders. Okay. Everything you message her, that it needs to include, you know, the date, the time, the where, the who, the how, the what we talked about. So when I messaged her, I said, hey, it's Haley. We just met in the cafeteria at the courthouse today. And I'm really excited to hear that, you know, you're fantastic, whatever. Really excited to get together and talk about the Philippines and your culture at a later date. Thanks so much for being willing. I look forward to having coffee with you, and I will message you in a week or two, and we'll see when you have some time to get together. Good luck with your sign language classes. I'm excited to hear more about that as well. And so now, put a message in my phone to message her next week, and when I pull her up on my phone, all that information is going to be in there, and it's going to be a reminder who she is, what day we met, where we were when we met, a few things that we discussed when we met, to refresh my memory, but also to refresh her memory, right? So when I message her next week, I'm going to say something along the lines of, hey, it's Haley. I hope you remember me. We met at the cafe. We talked a little bit about my business going into Hong Kong, and you offered to join me for coffee or lunch. I'm really excited to hear more about your culture and the women in your culture, and what kind of makeup habits that they most enjoy, what kind of products and things like that. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Okay, so I'm reminding her that she already agreed to coffee. I said, and I'll just say, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. I'm wondering if you have time for coffee or lunch any day this week. I'll make time, and then, you know, I'll go from there to work on the connection. I'm also, of course, going to try and find her on Facebook and friend her. She happened to have a business card. Turns out she was the manager of that little cafeteria there at the courthouse. So she gave me her business card. When I get home, I'm going to try and find her on Facebook too, if I possibly can. And just see if I can't build that relationship outside of that one network, you know, that one touch. Remember, you want 3 touches, 3 ways to reach someone. So phone number, Facebook, Instagram, email, text message, Snapchat, Facebook, a mutual friend, a phone number. You know, you want 3, if possible, if at all possible, you want 3 ways to connect with someone to cement and build those relationships. So I'm just going to take a second while I'm waiting for my friend Julia here. I have a couple of minutes, and I'm going to scroll back and just look and see if there were any questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything they want to add or would like me to add? But now, you know, the bottom line is now it's really on me to follow up, to do what I said I was going to do, to take her out for coffee, to show a true organic interest in her culture, in her community, listen to what she has to say, listen to her thoughts and her opinions. And of course, I'm going to share my business with her. But I find that when you genuinely ask someone for their business advice, you know, one might assume on the surface that I might be a little more business savvy than this young lady that I met. And here's why I say that. I'm 44 years old. I've had a 20+ year corporate career. I now own this multi-million-dollar, you know, skincare and makeup distribution company that's in 9 countries with 306,000 presenters in my team. You know, one might assume that because she's a much younger woman, I think she said she was 22 or 23, that maybe she hasn't had the opportunity yet to gain as much quote unquote success. But I find that when you are authentically interested in the opinions of others, when you genuinely care and you genuinely give someone the impression that they have value to add to something that you have going on, those people will just flourish in your presence. Everyone wants to feel valuable. Everybody wants to feel validated, and everyone has something to offer. So don't let anything you do in your business be an exercise in ageism or racism or any kind of negative-ism. You know, don't prejudge people and think that they have no value to add. I can't tell how many times do you hear me on here saying, hey, you need to take a couple of 13, 14-year-olds to coffee and ask them what those kids are doing these days. Because whatever the 13, 14-year-olds are doing for social media, like Snapchat right now, is where it's going. And if you are overlooking those opportunities to expand your network and to ask, you're missing out. In my, you know, humble opinion. What do I know though? Okay, so that was my 4 cents, a little more than 2 cents. Tell you what, boy, grand jury, man, that is a week of downers. Nothing but a lot of sex trafficking, sexual abuse cases. It really, I thought about the Unique Foundation a lot this week when I was sitting in on these grand jury cases. We heard an average, I think we had a minimum of 5 a day and as many as 8 a day. And today there were 3. cases specifically related to the sexual abuse of minors, and each case had a minimum of 6 counts. We're doing good work here, you guys. We're doing really good work with this company. Never forget that it's so much more than you just going out and selling a Liquid Touch foundation. Every dollar that we raise allows Younique Corporate to contribute $2 additional to the Younique Foundation. So round up those orders, share the foundation, share the defendinnocence.org, share what we're trying to do, and share the value of the company that you work for, because it is so much more than mascara. Don't forget that, okay? There's people out there that really need us, and we have a pretty fantastic opportunity to share here. But I love you all, and I will be back in the saddle tomorrow. Today was my last day of grand jury, thank goodness, and I'll be back on live soon.